Okay, let's listen in Dwayne Haskins and Dre'Mont Jones.
Kind of going on with you guys when you knew he couldn't get back?
That's Tim May.
Man, when we lost Nick, it was kind of a little bit of a wake-up call because we lost.
That's Dre'Mont Jones talking.
So we know, like, all right, and we got to go out there and play. I mean, there's no one to rely on to make a big play. We got to rely on ourselves. We got to rely on each other. And I think tonight, after a hard first half, we did.
In particular on your touchdown, had you been waiting all the game to get a shot at that? I mean, just because you read it perfectly, it was a what do you want to call it? A little option left shovel pass, but just what was going through your head there?
I mean, with a quarterback like that, I know he likes to run, and on that play in particular, he was a little hesitant and running on the outside. So I kind of just sat back and see what would happen, and I read it perfectly. I mean, the ball came directly towards me, and I was happy.
And Dre'Mont, did you feel like you had to make up for maybe dropping that first one that came to you?
Chill. Don't call that out. I mean, I was happy to make the play. It doesn't matter that I dropped it. It's still a PBU, so I mean, it's cool.
And Dwayne, it looked like, for much of the game that if you had kept it earlier on the run yourself, that there might have been yardage available to you. Were just guys saving that up for a moment like you had there in the red zone at the end?
That red zone play was a QB read. The plays before earlier in the game were design runs. So we ran that play a lot, and we seen the end was crunching in hard, so that's why we called that play.
Dwayne, what were you saying to Austin, who had, he had that great catch to start the game, then had some drops, but then he kind of came through for you late, too, had a couple nice catches. I know you're roommates with him. Just what were your conversations like with him to keep him up?
Me and Austin be really close. I was just saying, look, there's going to be plays you mess up. I'm going to keep coming to you, throwing you the ball. And I know it was hard for him having those drops like that in key moments in the game, but he kept pushing. I relied on him, again, on other big moments, and he came through for me.
And seeing Dre'Mont's moves in the open field there, do you lobby now to get him part of the offensive game plan?
Dre'Mont's a pretty good athlete.
Yeah. So, appreciate that.
We could use him some fullback or something. We'll figure it out. Talk to Coach Day.
Dwayne, this was the first time that you'd faced a lot of consistent pass rush. Mm-hmm. What was it like for you to experience that against obviously a very fast defense and have to face some adversity?
I mean, they're a really great defense, but like I said, I go against the best defense in the country every day in practice. And being able to get used to those rushmen coming every day and then playing games like this on Saturday, you're a little prepared for it. But really great defense at TCU, play really hard, didn't make too many mistakes. We had to capitalize on key moments, and we eventually did throughout the rest of the game.
Dre'Mont, what was it like early on, especially TCU's going quick tempo with you guys and also just getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands so fast? Just like, what can you guys do as a defense, but especially as a defensive line, when they came out like that way with their game plan?
I mean, thankfully our offense has a tempo, so we're used to it. I mean, it took some time to adjust because they had a winning quarterback. They're a very fast team, probably the fastest team I ever played since I've been in college. And it was hard to adjust slightly. I mean, once after that first drive, you kind of realize, all right, they're going to hold the ball eventually. We're going to go after them.
Anything else for players? Tim, right here. Last question right here.
Dre'Mont and Dwayne both. Dre'Mont and Dwayne both. That's kind of hard to say. Is there a sense that you guys, as a team, just sort of got over a hump tonight that could be big? I mean, what's your sense as you leave here?
I mean, we all looked each other in the eye and said, look, this game's not over. We're only down by a point, and that's the worst half of football we've probably ever played since this season. I mean, we have so much room to grow. We knew we can come out there with the W because we trust in each other, and we trust in our unit, and we trust in our acting head coach that he can lead us to the victory.
How about you, Dwayne?
Kind of same thing that Dre'Mont said. We got punched in the mouth. It's a fight. You don't get punched, so got to be able to rebound. And we did that second half, and we looked at each other, like Dre'Mont said in the eyes, said, "Look, we're done by 1 point. The game's not over yet. Got a lot of ball to play, and we rebounded."
What kind of grade would you give Ryan Day at this point, acting head coach?
Is there an A++ in the grade book?
I agree.
He's done really good.
Just because I'm standing right here.
Oh, you're right.
How you doing?
Hey, I didn't say that, Coach.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll let you guys get out of here.
Okay, that is both Dwayne Haskins and Dre'Mont Jones. It sounds like Ryan Day is right there because Dwayne Haskins gave an A++ to him. Here is Ryan Day, acting head coach on the Best Buckeye Coverage postgame show on 105.7 The Zone.
It's been about 17 minutes now since you're no longer the acting head coach. I was wondering, getting through these first 3 games, getting a win like this, what did it mean to you personally, and of course the signature win going back to normal on Monday?
Yeah, I really haven't thought about that. More about this team and what they just went through. Getting through this game, the way that it went down. We knew there was going to be ebbs and flows in a game like this. We talked about how everything's not going to go perfect. There were times in the 2 weeks previously where things really went well for us, and we knew that there were going to be times we hit adversity and that we have to stick together in times like that. I thought we did. And then we really turned the momentum in the third quarter there. I think we had 20 points in a short period of time. And so I thought that was the big difference in the game.
Right, but for you personally, going back now to what should be normal, to give the keys back to Urban and doing what you did, I mean, can you just tell me what it feels like to get through this challenge 3-0, to get a signature win without him, and what it means for you personally? Because this is a big thing in your life, I think.
I appreciate you saying that, but we're just so excited to get Coach back next week. And obviously the culture that he's built here is amazing, and the foundation that he's built here. And that's what got us through these first 3 games and through preseason. And the players that have been recruited here and the coaches that are here have kept this thing going. And so just humbled to be part of such a great tradition. I mean, even being here today and seeing all the Ohio State people who are here that traveled to Dallas for this game was amazing. Walking out, I looked around, I couldn't believe all the people traveled. So again, just honored to be part of it.
Over here to the right, Tim.
Ryan, when you look back over the past 2 months, just how would you assess yourself?
I haven't really had a chance to sit back and think about that, to be honest with you. Just trying to get the quarterbacks better, trying to help the offense the best we can, and then when Coach isn't here, keeping the thing going. And so obviously we get him back tomorrow and fired up about that. Our goal was to get 3-0, and so that when Coach got back, he had a team that was 3-0, and so that goal is accomplished, but we got a lot ahead of us.
And then Dwayne hadn't really faced pressure like he faced today from a defense. How would you assess his play?
Dwayne's? Yeah. This was a test to see kind of where he was at. I thought he passed. There were a couple times he scrambled, took a shot. He scored on the pull down in the red zone, took a couple hits on a couple sacks early in the game, hung in there, made some big throws, and again, worked through some adversity along the way.
Over to the left, Clay.
Ryan, was there one touchdown bigger than the other in that 20-point spurt in 4 minutes?
I would say, the defensive score was the biggest one. I mean, anytime you play in a game like this and you can win the turnover battle, that's our plan to win. We didn't turn the ball over, and we got 3 turnovers, 2 of them for scores. Huge. But that swing right there, we were kind of trying to find our way a little bit. It's a second and long. We hit the screen to Paris. Paris comes out the back end. We get the turnover by Dre'Mont, get the ball back, and then hit the ball for KJ. So it went fast right there, and that's what the game, I think, turned.
Do you have any update on Nick Bosa?
I don't. Right? They're evaluating what's going on. Yeah.
Over to the right here, Rob.
Ryan, coaches like to say, over here. Coaches like to say players need to make plays. How much comfort do you take, even in the 3 games that you coach, that you have so many weapons, and a guy like Dre'Mont, these guys can just make plays for you?
It goes to the talent level and the guys that have been recruited here. And this is not something that happens overnight. Coach Meyer and the whole staff have worked for years to recruit the type of player that comes here. And we do. We have a ton of playmakers. On defense, the guys rushing the passer, the guys in the back end making plays. To get defensive scores like that's huge. The guys on offense, we have a lot of weapons. So very talented team that took a lot of hard work to put together.
Front row left, Austin.
Ryan, I'm sure that you all were as surprised as we were to see Austin Mack put so many balls on the ground. Did you guys have to say something? Did you consider taking him out of the game at any point? How do you manage a situation like that where it was so uncharacteristic for him?
Yeah, I mean, Austin's usually a reliable guy, and the big thing we talked about going into the game was that, you heard the guys talk about it, that this was going to be a fight. And then when you go into a fight, sometimes you get hit. And when you get hit, you can't flinch. And so we didn't flinch. We kept putting Austin back in there. And then he dropped one, and then he came back and he made a catch. Then he made another catch. And so we believe in our guys. We know what we see every day in practice. We trust that, some days, guys are going to maybe put one on the ground. We don't like that, but we believe in our guys. And when things don't go well, we got to stick together.
Over here to the back, Steve.
Yeah, Coach Steve Hellwagon with Bucknuts 24/7. You've been around football a long time, and this team has some big aspirations this season, ranked pretty highly and everything. Just how important and what kind of growth do you think this team will get out of being in a situation down 8 points in the third quarter it's going to come up again at some point. How will this serve them going forward, this test?
It gives you some precedence moving forward. You know, you can always go back on this and show that when things don't go well, we can stick together. That when we hit adversity, we can work our way through it. You know, and that's always a question. You know, when you go up against somebody like TCU, a really well-coached team, really talented team. I think that's a really good team we just played. And, you know, we get in a tough spot where we're down. How are you going to respond? And you really don't know that. You practice every day. You think you know how you're going to respond. But to see how the guys respond today gives us something to look back on.
Ryan Timay, Columbus Dispatch. We finally see Dwayne Haskins Jr. keep on an option. Is there more of that to come, do you think? I mean, just what was your feel for that call at that moment?
Yeah, you know, Kevin came up in the box. He said that 2 plays earlier we called the play where the fullback came across and crunched the defensive end. And he said he was coming down real hard, and so you know, Kevin says if we call the play where he can read the guy, that we got a chance to hit it, and he was exactly right. He was right on the money. The timing was right, and so he pulled it. He read it, and then Rashad came around and led the way. Big play in the game, and you know, Dwayne, you know, can beat you with his feet. You know, and that's a part of his game. You know, it's not the biggest part of his game, but it is part of his game.
We got time for 2 more for Coach over here. Bill, to the left.
Ryan, I know you have a lot of talent at receiver, but KJ Hill had that toe tap catch on the sideline, did that touchdown late. Just what does he bring to your passing offense with his skill set?
Reliability, a guy who is going to be where you expect him to be. He catches the ball, runs really good routes. You know, he's a clutch player too. You know, when you need him, he's there. Hard worker and very talented.
Over here to the right, Pat.
Ryan, Pat 40 from Yahoo Sports. I'm just wondering how much pressure you felt being thrust into this position, and now if you're coming out the back end, you feel relief?
I do feel a little bit of relief right now after that game, and you know, the past few weeks. But I got so much help from these players and from the coaching staff. Kevin Wilson and Greg Schiano. What Greg Schiano's done for me in the last month is something I'll never forget. He is the classiest person I've ever been around the coaching profession, the way he's handled himself, helping me along the way, counseling me on day-to-day stuff. And then just the way that, you know, the defense played today, I couldn't have been happier for him and that defense. So, yeah, a little bit of relief, but still got a long way to go here.
And finally, last question for Coach Doug.
Ryan, will you consider retiring with an undefeated record?
Sure.